I've always wanted to film my parents' story with my twin sister Danielle. I wanted to shine a light on their 50 years of marriage and what having a profoundly disabled child has taught them about love, faith, health, kindness, and community. We laughed, we cried, and I also learned a few things I never knew before. Why do I believe so deeply in the power of walking and the outdoors? It's because of Danielle. She loves getting outside, but is completely reliant on someone else taking her there. Here's our story. This episode of Walk with Walsh is brought to you by our great friends at WW, Weight Watchers Reimagined. Hey everyone, my name is Jennifer Walsh, and welcome to this episode of A Walk with Walsh. This is a very special episode for me and for the family, where I get to introduce my dad, Bill Walsh, my mom, Winnie Walsh.
Hello, Jennifer.
And my twin sister, Danielle. We're missing another family member. Brianna is a little camera shy, so she's not joining us today, but I thought it was really important to tell my family story, especially my parents' love story of 50 years marriage. Married 50 years.
50 years. And it's a love story.
It's a love story.
Did we ever think?
I know, but it's happening. And they just celebrated their 50th anniversary just this past August,
Yes.
which is lovely. And I really wanted to talk about what their life has been like with my twin sister, and of course with me as well.
Of course, with you.
And my little sister, Brianna.
Of course.
But I just thought it was important that we just kind of have some time. We couldn't walk today because it's also raining out, so we thought we'd just bring the conversation indoors. So be a little bit cozier. We can kind of just chat from here.
Sounds
So
good to
I
me.
wanted to ask you, how has the past 50 years been? Bliss, right?
Oh, we believe marital bliss all the way, right, Bill? Say it now. Yes.
Yeah.
It has been many blissful days.
Many blissful days.
It's been a wonderful journey.
I'm sure it has been a journey. And so when you first got married, were you excited about a life full of adventure and trips?
Yes. Well, when we first got married, we were so excited about being married, have our first apartment.
And you were living in?
We lived in Riverdale in the Bronx.
The Bronx?
Yes, 5621 Netherland Avenue. And we had a one-bedroom apartment, beautiful, big apartment. And we remember when we came back from our honeymoon, we had our first dinner, official dinner with our friends, Gina and George Lombardi. And we didn't have a dining room table, so we set the floor. We had beautiful linen, and we set the floor, and we sat on the floor, and we had our first dinner.
No table needed.
No table.
No.
And then for dessert, the Good Humor truck came from downstairs, and the windows were open, and they had a little girl, Gabriella, who was a year old, and we ran downstairs, and we had our ice cream, and that was so memorable, right? Just starting.
Very fond memories.
I like those are the good memories.
Wonderful memories, because we had a bedroom set and a living room set. We hadn't had anything in the little dining area to eat, so it was just special memories when you start with nothing and then just build it up.
And build it up.
And I can't believe we're 50
years later, and now we are in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, where you now reside for the past how many years?
30 years. And now instead of trying to accumulate things, now we're trying to
Get rid of things.
give them away. As
You've
we're
always
going
been like
through
that, though. It's always been very...
Mom's never been a collector of things.
No.
So.
Yeah, you're always giving things away, it seems like, forever.
We do. And if you see something that somebody else would like, we just say, oh, this would be a wonderful present for somebody else.
We've already used it for the past 20 years.
It's perfect.
It just happened the other night.
It's like regifting, but even better.
Gifting.
Gifting, yeah.
Yes,
We always give,
gifted.
Yeah, exactly. So I would like to talk about, of course, Danielle, and when you were pregnant and Danielle were born.
Yes.
So,
let's go back to the beginning, and when Mom was pregnant.
Yes.
And we were expecting only one child. That too. And at that time, we never had there was no testing beforehand to find out what sex. And we didn't know until a month before you both were born that we were going to have twins.
Two of us.
I know.
Surprise.
We had purchased everything for a single birth.
Probably would have been you.
Yeah.
Baby A, but we went to this Darling store. It's called Darling, I think, and we bought
In the Bronx?
No, it was in Upper Manhattan.
Okay.
And we went to a place and bought French provincial cribs, and it was just going to be top of the line everything.
Yeah.
And then when we heard we're having twins, we found the Twins Mothers Club. Secondhand.
Of course. Did you send back that one crib and say, let's start
didn't
over?
have it.
We canceled the order.
Okay.
We had ordered it, but then we canceled it, and it was just. But I remember the night that we found out I was having twins. I guess they must have done an X-ray. I don't even know. I was huge from the beginning, and I guess it was the summer, so I may have only been maybe 6 months pregnant. And I was at the beach in Rockaway.
Not even 6 months.
Okay.
So I had a maternity bathing suit. I can remember this bathing suit. I was huge. So I'm standing down by the water's edge because your father's out there playing, not paying attention to anything, and somebody is playing frisbee with their dogs, and the dog jumped and knocked me down. Oh, there was such confusion on the beach that day because everybody thought she was going to give birth right here. And Dad's out there.
That's having a great time.
He misses the whole thing.
That's probably best.
And it turns out the person who was throwing the frisbee, his wife was pregnant, and we turned out to be about the same time, and she has a little bikini on.
Oh,
and this big, moo kind of bathing suit. So,
well, maybe that makes sense.
yeah. No, I didn't even
No, we
think
didn't
that.
think
No,
about
we never thought of having twins.
Mom just figured she didn't get any weight anywhere else but in her stomach.
Just the stomach.
And
So
there was
when
the
did you, how did you find out
excitement,
that you were having twins?
Well, I guess it was the month before. I think Dr. Weiss decided she's awfully big, for a
Especially
tiny
for your
woman,
frame,
she's huge. So I think they took an X-ray.
Okay.
And said, or maybe there were 2 heartbeats, or I don't remember what
I
it was.
think it was 2 heartbeats rather than taking a chance on an X-ray. That's
I remember, I don't really have the recollection other than I remember coming home and Dad was going to go for physical the next day, so he couldn't have anything to eat or drink. And I remember him saying, I wish I could have a scotch. It was just like, because we're at Gigi's. At
My mother's mom, we used to call her Gigi, so that was Gigi is her
And it was
nickname.
wonderful. Just great excitement. Our friends were having children at the time, and we were excited about having
Young family in the Bronx.
children.
Well, we lived in a neighborhood that had 5 buildings very close to each other in a cul-de-sac type of a street. And so there were many young families within those many buildings. And these were
nice.
friends. It was the first start of their marriage.
And of course, we already had your name picked out. We already knew we'd have a Jennifer. And I thought, that's so unique. There'll be no Jennifer.
There were no Jennifers
We
in
had decided-
1971.
That's what we knew we wanted, Jennifer and Danielle, and if it had been a boy, it would have been Brandon, and I don't remember what the other name, but we go to the park when you're about 6 weeks old, and everybody's going, Jennifer, Jennifer.
You were ahead of the time.
Everybody had a
Ahead of the
Jennifer.
curve.
Everybody had a
Everybody
Jennifer,
had.
so
funny.
that was kind of,
That was probably the most popular name at that time.
Sure.
Going to work in the morning was interesting. When the both of you were born, I would leave Mom. I would first of all get up in the morning to take care of you. You were my responsibility. So we had 2 cribs in the bedroom.
Okay.
And when Danielle used to wake up because she needed a little more care, she was on a 3-hour feeding. And when we first heard the first sounds of crying, I used to just lie there and say, oh, God, I hope it's Danielle.
I hope it's Danielle.
Her side of the bed.
Danielle was mom's responsibility. Dad was okay.
That was your
Got it.
responsibility.
Yeah.
And so I would get up in the morning and take care of you. I'd feed you, change you, and then Mom would get up again with Danielle, and I'd get ready to go to work, and I left Mom sitting in a chair, a rocking chair, with you in an infant seat next to her, and she would be feeding Danielle. And off I'd go and spend my day at work, and when I returned home, she was in that same chair.
Same position. It was probably like this.
in the same bathrobe.
bathroom.
Old flannel little bathrobe.
Oh my
I think I was
gosh.
in that bathrobe for 3 months. But the men on the train knew that we just had children, so they would wake Dad up when he would get down to Grand Central because he's like you. He could just fall asleep on a dime anyway.
Well, I needed my sleep at that time. It was we had very little sleep.
Sure.
The old saying is that one child has to go to sleep sooner or later.
Yep.
But when you have 2, one is always awake.
One's always awake.
Yeah, especially
It's probably this
different.
one, a troublemaker.
Well, we can't blame Danielle.
She can't do it.
She's laughing. She's laughing. Oh, see, the troublemaker. She knew it. She
So
knew
that
it.
was the change in our lives. We thought we would just be carefree and travel around the world and just have lots of money. I don't know what we did.
We didn't plan on having children. So
It was a surprise.
Yeah.
We didn't unplan having children. We just thought we wouldn't have any, and then
then
I was
surprise, you were
pregnant,
here.
and then
a
we
year and a
had.
half later, the both of you were born.
Yeah, and then our life changed so drastically. I mean, in a good way. I mean, really. But I remember thinking, we didn't even want to go out. I mean, going to dinner was something, would be an extravagance. But I remember Bill's mom coming up, or my mom coming, And they said, "Do you want to go anywhere?" And Dad would already be asleep on the living room floor. He just wanted to
He'd be asleep on the floor.
we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, we just
Twins and working,
we
and
just
it's-
don't want to go anywhere. But
Wow.
it was
That's hard.
but it was a wonderful adjustment because we had, again, friends. I remember when we had the first Friday night, you both were home from the hospital, and we had friends that had their son 6 months before you two were born, and they were coming to show us how to fix the formula.
Oh.
That meant like pouring it into a
Sure.
bottle, and it was just all new. I remember
I don't even
thinking,
do that.
we'll never be the same. It's just,
Everything changes.
Never be the same. And
Very
you're never
quickly.
the same, but your heart changes. Having children change that. I mean, the moment you look at your children, it's just,
Everything changes.
you're in love. I mean, you love like you never thought you could love before, and you hold these little creatures like you. I mean, you're so cute. Your hair used to stand up, and your hair you had red hair that would stand up in the top of your head, and we used to oil it down.
We're getting all the secrets out today. All the secrets are coming out.
But it was just that moment
Special.
of pure love that you just look at these creatures that are so dependent on you, and you know you would do anything in the world for them.
Sure.
So, and that wasn't what changed, because later on when we realized that Danielle was having some difficulties and that she was a special needs child, then
How old were we when you found that out?
She was-
she was about a year old. Oh, without going into too much detail.
Yeah, I just think one day up on the, we had gone away that first summer to Belle Harbor, Queens, and
He was
we
6
had
months
you
old.
out in the carriage for two, and you were both side by side. Actually, you were up in the front of the carriage, and Danielle was lying in the back. And the woman approached and said, "Oh, by the way, you have two beautiful children there. But what is wrong with your daughter in the back?"
So someone said that to you. What's wrong with your
Yes,
daughter?
and I was
Wasn't
very surprised. I was going to say, "Well,
Nothing.
what are you talking about? There's
Interesting.
nothing wrong with her." And it creates a little doubt in your mind, and we realized, because people would say to us, "Oh, one child always develops
Of course.
quickly than the other," and you were doing so many more things than she was doing at that time. You both were about the same size, but you were starting to become more active now. And then we decided to go back to our pediatrician. And he said to us, "Didn't anybody tell you that
No, first he sent us to the neurologist, a neurosurgeon, remember? Told us that the fontanelle hadn't closed,
that's right.
closed prematurely. So
no one really knew.
no, we didn't know.
we
went
didn't
to
know, but
this.
they knew, the doctors knew.
Later on, he said, so we went to the neurosurgeon or neurologist, I don't remember, and he was the one who said, he took Danielle into her, she was having seizures, or for us it was startling, she would just startle easily, so we didn't think anything of it. And again, our doctor was saying, well, one child develops differently and quickly, and this doctor took her inside, and I was erect pacing, and I could hear her crying, and they said, well, your daughter will never walk, and she'll never talk, and I guess they saw her face and thinking, what are they talking about? And then he said, didn't anybody tell you? And he said, tell us what? It was just that moment of just that reality of, what do you mean? How could this be? How could this child not? Because she looked so healthy. She was a very healthy child.
We looked very much.
Yeah, chubby. And
Yeah.
when Dad said in the back of the carriage, it was one of those double wide things. So she was just always lying down, and you were just kind of moving and kicking, and the poor little thing was just.
You were trying to climb out of the carriage.
And I can remember some friends that we had in Belle Harbor. And of course, we went to Gigi and Frank and Johnny, who were always our first supports. And I remember.
So Frank and Johnny are mom's brothers.
Yeah, my mom,
Yeah.
Winnie, she's a Winifred as well, and Frank and Johnny, and just stood there. I don't even know if we cried. I think we were just so stunned that we couldn't believe that they were
the realization that we were now going to have a different life.
And then the worry, how do we take care of you? How do we take care of her? But I do remember talking to this woman named Madeline Swift. Her husband was in our wedding party, and we were in Belle Harbor and saying, I don't know how we're going to do this. I don't know how we're going to handle this. And that's almost 49 years ago now. That's just so amazing.
Initially, when you were both born, when the doctor, my mom was in recovery, and he came out to me and said, oh, by the way, there's only a 5% chance that Danielle will survive the next couple of days. And it was probably 6 months to a year later when they told us that she would only live approximately 10 years.
10 years.
And now she'll be...
Yes. We went back to see pediatrician. His name was Dr. Lasko, really lovely man.
Yeah.
And we asked him why he didn't tell us, and he said, well, sometimes you have to watch the developmental curve. And he said the moment of her birth, when she wasn't breathing, he said, I had to take a chance. He said, I knew I could be crucifying the parents, but her heart was very strong, and I just had to try to give her a chance of life.
He said, I know.
And we have no regrets, and we're very thankful that Dr. Lasko.
So I was born first, and Danielle was born second, and that's the
4 minutes difference. Yeah.
So that must have been
you were initially called Baby A and Baby B.
Baby A, Baby B.
Yes.
That's right. I think we still say that now.
Yes, even though Brianna wants to be Baby A.
The other sister that doesn't want to be on camera, she wants to be Baby A. She could do that.
So what is the adjustment? Just in your life, in your world.
Yeah. Well, it must have taken a lot of years also to just kind of put your head on the realization of, I'm sure you had dreams of what it'd be like to have a healthy family of 2 daughters that were healthy.
I don't even know, I know we never had any thoughts of why did this happen. I mean, I guess we always thought we'd have healthy children. You always thought it would be, you would have the normal life that we had.
Sure.
But we never questioned.
Yeah, we never realized or never were exposed to anybody with a handicapped child before.
So you were the very first.
Well,
so you didn't even know what to...
No, we didn't know what you would look for or how to take care of her or what to do. So we
even what to expect in the future. It was just, let life play out. Let's...
Sure.
This is something that we never expected, and then it's a matter of how do you go through life with a special child?
And there really wasn't a lot of, we never had a lot of discussion about it because we were so busy trying to survive. You just had to survive. You had to get up every day and then make sure we knew how to work with her and try to feed her and try to exercise her, and at the same time give you the normalcy of your life that you should be having as well. And then throughout the years, the great grace of this opportunity to be in a population of people we would never have had anything to do with, right? We wouldn't really know any person with any kind of, I don't like the word handicap.
Sure.
We just never saw a child that was different. So this was a great learning experience for us. But boy, did it open up a door of such opportunity and giftedness. Danielle,
how old were we when we went, when she went to home?
She was 2.
So she was 2. And that was a new opportunity to see people that you had never seen before.
Yeah, and we would never have done that. I really would never have.
But no, did they tell you that it was best to bring her to a home?
Oh my goodness, who didn't tell us?
Yeah.
It's terrible really when you look back in those days.
Yeah.
It would not have been anything I would have done, ever have done at that time. But it's almost being coerced into doing it. You can't take care of her, you can't take care of you. So thank you, Jennifer. I didn't want to talk about that.
We need to get a little emotional today.
No, not emotional. It's just a time that I think it could have been done a lot differently. And a different life.
Very difficult to look back.
Sure.
Well, even at the time, I know I didn't want to do it. It was just like, this isn't normal, and this isn't the way I'd have my life. And I see today that the doors are open in such a different way that it's very disturbing to
But
look
you
at
then
that.
to get to shine the light for people that would look like opportunities that you get to go to places. A little tissue?
Oh, maybe. Thank you. I said I wasn't going to talk about that.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, no, it's not that part. It's the part of how our life really can influence another life. Not us. Danielle can influence another life.
She's sleeping through the whole thing.
She's actually dramatically changed our lives.
Oh my goodness.
In a very positive way. We wouldn't change that life. We would prefer it that she hadn't been disabled, but that was God's plan. And,
Well, he certainly allowed it to happen.
Yes.
God never wants any sickness or anything like that in life, but that's how he allowed this to happen. And when I think about it, it's such an incredible gift to have a child like Danielle. And I believe there is a myth that people believe because the child doesn't live with you, that you don't have that connection, you don't have that affection, and it's a constant part of your life. Danielle, there isn't a day that goes by that we don't think of the 3 of you.
Of course.
Just always, but you know that.
Yeah.
You have that experience of being somewhere and saying, I wish Danielle were here or she is here. You
Always.
experience that. But
It's a constant.
Yeah.
Every day. Yeah.
And you know that a home can't give her the care that you could give her, but at the same time, and this is what I tell the people where she lives, I thank them all the time, because how humbling it is to be able to say to somebody, I can't take care of my own child, but you can. And it's a humbling experience. But the knowledge that if we hadn't done it early on, I don't know where she would be today, but we're thankful for where she is and for the people who do take care of her.
And you've met so many interesting people along the way.
Oh my goodness.
It's all the different stories of all the people that share that she lives in a home very close by, and such different stories and different parents and different backgrounds.
Yes. I wanted to write a book with 2 other parents there, because we have children in the same home but different circumstances all the way. And how it opened up the door for this population, that we just love the children who are challenged. They're so beautiful and so giving, and we would not have known that part of our life. And I know how it has affected you and Brianna. I mean, Brianna works with children in the exceptional school, and it's just such a gift that it's so profound, because we give a talk on marriage, and we always talk about this child who can't do anything, right? She can't ask for a glass of water. She can't ask to be fed. She can't ask for anything. She can't do anything on her own. But the one thing we know for sure, that within her is the triune God, as a baptized child of God, and that she's never offended, don't look like her, she's never offended anybody in her entire life. I mean, when she closes her eyes in this world, imagine, I can only imagine.
In reality, she's, in God's eyes, she is perfect.
Yeah.
It's true. She really is.
I always say that to you. She's the one, we're the ones that are going through a difficult life. She's so close to the Lord. My prayer has always been, in the depth of the being of these children, Danielle and all of her, I pray for all of the children in all the houses every day, that in the depth of their being, they know the Lord beyond what we could even comprehend. I believe that to be true. I believe that that's why you can see joy in them, even though intense suffering. I mean, you walk into Harbor, to Gabriel, whatever house you're in.
There's a few houses.
So many houses we're involved with.
Yes.
Hodges. And you know it.
Yeah.
You know there's suffering, right? You know these children are in great pain, and they know when you're leaving, they know when you're coming and going. That myth too, and even in my own family, people will say, oh, she knows who you are, or she knows she's in a different environment, or she knows she likes to be outside. I mean, that's...
And she's in a home with all similar people that are all profoundly handicapped with multiple disabilities. And your mom and I got involved in a program here in the Diocese of St. Augustine, which was called Camp I Am Special. And it's a summer camp program that's put on for 8 weeks every summer for disabled children and adults. And we started going there and cooking meals for this camps every summer for 1 week. And it's a labor of love, because we have so much fun doing it. And we do a week where there are the ages of the children are from 6 to 12, and we have to prepare meals for 100 people.
A lot of people.
40 people, 40 disabled children, 20 girls and 20 boys, and we're teenagers who care for them on a one-to-one basis. And there's staff of about 20. So we prepare meals, and we have and it's so much fun doing it. We wish that Danielle could be part of that, but because of the degree of her disability, she's not able to do that. It's just different.
Yeah,
they had a week at the end. In the beginning, it was just for the younger ones and not for the profound. But at that point, I didn't think that was a good opportunity for her to go. But you were there. You were at that.
Yeah,
camp.
it's a really special place here in Jacksonville,
But it just changes your heart.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think that's exactly it.
Changes your heart.
And in your community with Danielle and showing other people, not just Danielle, but the home, and how you treat Danielle, and how maybe Danielle has helped you see people differently. And then you're more compassionate and more empathetic to those who you can see differently. She really opens your eyes.
Changes your life.
You can't hide them away. They're beautiful people, all of them, and so many parents have handicapped children, and how do you love them? How do you nourish them as they get older? what's available to them. And there's a lot more available today than it was 50 years ago when you were born.
Oh my goodness, yes.
These camps weren't available years ago. There are many of them throughout the country today. And this is one just here in Jacksonville.
I understand what you're saying too about people like Danielle can't go to camps like that.
Well, they have special camps, I think more and more now. And they do have, even at this camp I'm special, they have it for older and more profound children as well. But they didn't have that years ago. And we're very politically incorrect, Bill, because we keep saying handicapped. And,
I know. In this house, you can say that. That's okay.
I mean, in the real world, they're challenged and they just see differently. But they're truly our gift. We shouldn't. We had a doctor tell us, and I can't remember which one. Just put her in a home and forget about her. She'll never know you.
A doctor said that to you?
Yes.
Yes.
She'll never know you. She'll never. Oh my gosh! But lies are told because they didn't know. It isn't malicious. It isn't malicious. But we always knew. We always knew that she knew us. I mean, she always has, and she always knows. There's so much more. There's a story just recently I heard about a young man in a home, and his sister passed away. And the day that his sister died, he cried the entire day. How would he know?
How is that possible?
It's just,
it's really
there's
beautiful.
a connection there.
There is a connection.
People don't understand that. Danielle understands. I think that she probably walks out this door laughing, saying, they think I don't understand, but
we hear you.
Whatever language you're speaking, we understand. But it just changed our life in such a better way. I mean, we're much nicer people. We really are. We really are much nicer. And then, of course, it's an adaptation too for our life. How do we come to grips with raising our family and really being as clueless as anybody? We were clueless parents to begin with anyway. I never even babysat.
Well, if you think of everybody who's given birth and how their lives have changed at that time of birth, and it just changes 180 degrees. You're carefree and you're just care for each other, and now you have another human being that you're responsible for. We just happen to have two of you at the same time. Just a blessing for us. And she's been a blessing in all our lives, just like you have been.
Can I ask you a question too about the caregiving part? Because of course, when you're younger, you think, okay, now what do I do? But then you don't think about, now I'm going to have to. You're told that she might live to the age of 10, but now you're lifelong caregivers.
Yes.
Has that become easier, or you're just better equipped because there's more opportunity now to help guide you, or how has that been?
I think we become of our own fragility, our own frailty. As we have gotten older, I see her now when we have her at home, and this is how I know Danielle knows so much. When just getting her out of this wheelchair, Bill takes the top part and I take Danielle, and she loves to lie in our bed.
Yeah.
So we prepare the bed for her and everything around it that she needs. But as we try to lift her, we realize, oh my gosh, my back is killing me. And the both of us are like, oh God. When we put her back
tiny, but she's heavy.
She's strong.
She is.
So we fall into the bed with her, and she knows it's like her shoulders go up. Oh my gosh, they're going to lift me. And then she falls into bed with us, and the three of us laugh. But
And she's
her
laughing.
up.
She just loves it.
But then when we get her up out of bed, we have her sideways on this wheelchair because we think we can't even.
That's a wiggle her in.
But the idea that she's in my prayer has always say to the Lord, I'm not telling you what to do, but I hope that you could take her before I leave this world, because that way I think I could rest in peace a little better. But I'm never telling God what to do, but I think that's every parent's prayer. Let them go first, so we know that they're taken care of. Because I feel like it's not your total responsibility or Brianna's, that this is our responsibility, and if the Lord would grant us that gift to have the courage to be beside her and escort her home in prayer, that would be a beautiful gift.
Absolutely.
Need the courage to say that, but that would be the gift. And but if he doesn't, he's God, and he knows what really is needed. But I would hate to have her not have company and not be home, and that's the normalcy.
What would be your ideal day? Thinking about that, but then also thinking like, what if she were well? What would be what would the ideal day look like if we were all together, or not together? What would that be like if she wasn't in a wheelchair?
Yeah, I've never given myself the permission to dream that. I really haven't, and I think that that's probably what saved us. Right? There's never been a what if, like what if Jennifer and Danielle could be out gallivanting or doing that. I've never given myself that. It's just, I think it was a great grace to be able to accept who she is, the way she is, and not have the dream. I mean, every once in a while I'll see somebody else, I wonder if Danielle would be tall or short. Would she be like 5 feet, or would she be, would she be a McGinley, or would she be taller like you and the Walsh side?
That's something you would have to deal with all your life.
That loss.
We know that she is our daughter, and will be our daughter forever, and she's your sister. And then you have to think, this is my twin sister.
Yeah.
What would she be like if she was so called? No.
Yes.
Yeah. How would you? What would your relationship be with her as you age together, as you go through life?
Where would she be? Would she be?
Where would she be living?
But my ideal day today, my dream for Danielle is I after all these years that we've had her home and I visit her and she's been in hospitals, leaving her is always the same pain as it was when she was 2 years old, because she knows you're leaving her. So you're walking away from somebody, and then sometimes she looks after you and you say, Danielle, don't do that. Please don't look at me like that. Or when she goes in the van, when she goes back home.
So the van will pick her up here at the house and bring her back.
And then the head goes down and you just say, I wish that could be different. So my dream for her would be somebody would be able to take her out a couple of times a day for a walk, 3 times a day, just to be outdoors. She's definitely a wellness child. She's a walk with Walsh child.
We are twins. Yes. I mean, she loves the outside. She absolutely lights up.
Well, you can see her sitting there, and her head is bowed a little bit when she's walking, when we're outside.
Her head is always back.
Always back.
Comfortable.
And maybe she knows where we're going and then what she's going to get when we're out. And she loves ice cream like the father does.
She likes the outside. She likes ice cream.
But even around here, we just go out. As soon as she comes home, we take her for a walk. Feed her lunch, take her for a walk, get her up and take her for a walk. And she just you get her to the door and the head is up and she's so anxious to be outside.
Do you think she has also kept you young? Or is it you kept, because you guys are so very, 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 very playful. So the two of you are very playful with each other. Yeah. You look at life very lovingly and you have fun and you're so active all the time. These two are so much busier than I could ever be. I can't keep up with you.
Yes, we are busy.
But you're doing you're involved in so many different things, not only here in Florida and Jacksonville, but you go up north every summer to Ocean Grove, New Jersey.
Oh, that's our camp. That's our camp. That's our camp for old people.
No, it's not a camp for old people.
So we do go. We enjoy that.
But you're always doing so many. I always think because you're just so young. To me, I think you act young, you behave young. You're just always involved with your friends. You're involved with your church.
So blessed.
You're doing so many different things, and you have so many different groups of friends. And then you've got Danielle's group, and then there's so many things you're a part of. Do you think all of that keeps you young, or?
Well, I know we're exhausted, but we really have a good time.
You go to bed hard every night.
How do you perceive life? What do you do as you age? Do you just say at some point in your life you just sit back and say, well, no, I'm not going to do anything, and you're preparing to die? There's a zest for life that we both have. That's what more can I do in life? So my prayer in the morning is Lord, what do you want me to do with the rest of my life?
We talk about that, the dash.
The
dash. From the day we're born to the day, even when we were, in the very beginning, and you don't have a lot of money, a lot to do extra things, and we have been blessed to do ministry together, and that has been just the highlight of our life. Camp is one thing. I always get a kick out of it because we wind up in the kitchen everywhere. We're Irish. I always think we're putting Irish people in the charge of a kitchen. But there's a handicap, there we do it again, but a home for challenged adults. They're developmentally delayed, and they are living in a place called a Walsh community. And it's a beautiful community of adults started by a named Jean Vanier, who was, his father, I think, was the Prime Minister of Canada, and he was in the Navy, the Canadian Navy. And of course, he said he ascended the ladder to achieve so many things, but he came down the ladder and he met the face of Christ in a handicapped adult man. And he started these homes, and they're beautiful communities. We wound up cooking for them. We cooked on their retreats, and I get a kick out of it because I think, oh my gosh, an Irish person is cooking for these people. But that the Lord has given us many opportunities to serve him, and I think that's what has probably strengthened our marriage, that we're here for a purpose. And this journey, there's a little picture of Winnie the Pooh on Facebook all the time that said, we're here to walk with each other home. I don't think there's anything more profound to do with your life.
Simple and profound. And
Yeah,
not only it's with the disabled, but Mom and I got involved. Actually, she got involved before I did. I'm going to say 6 or 7 years ago, at a place over here in Jacksonville called the Mayo Clinic. It's really not involved in the Mayo Clinic, but it's a facility on Mayo Clinic property, and it's a place where people are waiting for a transplant. And Mom went over there with a group of women to cook a dinner for these people waiting for somebody.
Back in the kitchen again.
Yeah, back to the kitchen. Mom's always in the kitchen somewhere else. So you're always here.
And so these people are waiting for somebody, not in every situation, but for most times, for somebody to die, that they're willing to donate their organs so somebody would have a chance to live. And she went over there one day with a group of women, prepared a meal, and she came back home and said, "Oh, Bill, you have to go over to see this beautiful place."
No, I didn't preface it like that. No. See, one thing I will see after 50 years of marriage, I can say, anytime I'd say to Dad, "Oh, there's this wonderful whatever it might be. I think we should do this together," or "I think that maybe you'd like to do this," and he said, "I'll think about it." And you know what that would mean? He'd never do it. So this night I came home and I thought he would love this place. And I said to him, "You never, ever listen when I ask you to, maybe you'd like to look at something. You always say to me, I'll think about it, but I would love you to take a look at this because I think this is a place that you would flourish and be able to do something over there." And here it is, 5, 6, 7 years later, we're still cooking.
Are you there
dinners.
once a week?
Oh no, he goes once a month.
Once a month, okay.
And we go just a few times a year. But it isn't, it's just, I believe the Lord has just touched our hearts. Maybe in seeing that we needed encouragement, having a Danielle, and we needed somebody near us. He's opened up our life, and it started very early on in our marriage when we had very little, and we wanted to do something. We wound up in through our church, Church of the Holy Spirit in Peekskill, and we were involved in soup kitchens there. We met people and just didn't know how can we help them. We don't have enough to be able to adopt a family, but if we ask some of our friends, I always said I'm such a beggar that my friends run away from me anymore because I'm always asking them for money for somebody else. And it started then with just families in need, and we would just ask our friends to trust us. Would they trust us with whatever amount of money a month? And we would adopt families for a short period of time. Dad would go food shopping with the women.
I remember.
And
always
encourage them to buy because they were so particular. They wouldn't buy anything that we would think would be frivolous.
Sure.
And he would encourage them to
buy something that would be frivolous.
have cookies or have ice cream.
You have young children, these are treats for your children.
And then, so we kept that up down here. And one year, there was a family of many, many children, and Dad took them shopping. And one day when Gigi was in the nursing home, and I'm walking down the hall, and this young woman stopped me, and she said, "Do you remember me?" Oh, I said, "No, I don't." She said, you took care of us when we needed your help." And she was taking care of Gigi.
Oh, my gosh.
That not?
You have to tell who Gigi is.
Gigi is my mom, Jennifer's and Danielle's grandmother. And your mother-in-law, even though she thought you were the taxi driver when she
that's a whole other story. Towards the end, she was calling my dad the taxi driver.
Oh,
she had a little dementia, but it was pretty cute.
But you talked about the ideal day. I think, to me, it's for people to realize that these children really understand. In Danielle's home, we've always called this life, the other side of life, but that they really are the forgotten ones. They're in this home. They're 3 lovely houses, and the people there are wonderful workers, and I'm ever grateful. And I thank God every day that we have a place like that. But nobody knows. There are very few people would come in to visit.
Why would you call them the forgotten ones? Tell us.
Because nobody really knows they're there. There's a beautiful place right next door, and this is nothing against any other facility that's for children with any kind of developmental disability. But they're so well known, and the name is known, and people will go there, and they have music, and they have dancing. And I think because Danielle's population don't respond like this, they don't respond to the music, and the doors aren't open. Nobody really realizes that perhaps these children would like a little visit. There is a church that comes, I think, every week.
I'm glad you're saying this because I think it's so true. They need They would love to see animals, even though they can't interact with animals. I'm sure they would love to pet a dog or a creature of some sort.
Most of them can't.
We had a dog there, and we have some of the children could lie next to the dog, but somehow somebody said that there could be an allergy, and then that wasn't allowed anymore. I don't know if that's really true, if that's what happened, but we don't have any outings with them. You know, I don't know if they just don't have the funding, or perhaps don't even have the personnel, to get them out and enjoy a day in the park or day at the movies or whatever it might be. They used to do that more, but that they're there, you know, it's a different population because they're so profound. So they're not the children who can be out walking and working and
there's a big spectrum of disabilities. So the mildly handicapped and profoundly handicapped, and it's a lot in between.
Sure.
Depending on the disability. You know, a big disability today is autism. At this camp we used to cook for, and most of them when we started were cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, and now more than half are
autistic. And that's a challenge.
I'm really glad you're saying all that, because you're right, there is such a wide spectrum of challenges for people that you think of maybe one type, like you just said, maybe there's just autistic, or maybe there's cerebral palsy. But you don't really realize the spectrum can be very, very mild, and you can go to something like Danielle is so profound. So what does that look like? And everyone's story is different. Everyone's struggle is different. Everyone's handicap or challenge is different. So you have to kind of think about
at the end of it all, isn't it all beautiful? I mean, our life is, I think people maybe felt sorry for us or something in the beginning. I don't know. And I think, why would you? I mean, there really is joy.
Well, they're very curious because they think, well, how do you handle that? How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
And we don't look at it that way. We don't look at it as well. Something that would make us more reclusive or standoffish or something. We're very open about that. So she's been a blessing to us. We bring it to functions we brought it to functions at the church, and so people are aware of her. They know not about struggle, but just the love we have for all of you.
And there's definitely pain in it. There's definitely, she's been sick so many times and hospitalized. I mean, she's been very healthy, but different infections, accidents.
And surgeries.
Burns, surgery, she's had it all. And that's, there isn't a moment that I don't sit in that room. But you had said before something about we would want it different. And I was telling you last night that a deeply spiritual woman that I know came up to me one day and she said, you wouldn't have it any other way. And I looked at her and I thought, maybe I would. It's really a great reflection. Would I try to change, Lord, what you have given us as an incredible gift? And the bottom line is, I wouldn't want it any other way, but I certainly sorrow when I see the suffering that these children go through, and they do.
That's the hardest part.
There's lots of pain, and they suffer a lot. Yeah. But at the same time, in the depth of their being, they know the Lord, and I believe they know that. That's my belief. But just to let people know that they're special gifts, and we had to grow into that. I mean, we didn't just say, "Oh, this is great." The two of us are just going to, nobody would want to babysit anybody like Danielle because they were afraid, and without going into the whole thing. But I remember the communication is so important. And we didn't have that in the beginning. Both of us were dying in the beginning because this is a whole new world for us. And I didn't know what to do about it, and you didn't know what to do about it.
When this happens and you face life and I always think of having a conversation with God, that this is not part of my plan, God.
Yeah, my plan.
Maybe your plan, but it's not my plan. And then it's the realization that, well, it was his plan, and you'll grow in my plan, in his plan, and it just changes your life dramatically.
But the healing came that Bill is going his own way, being busy with work, and I'm going my way, trying to keep the three of us busy and together, and going on in a normalcy, but it wasn't whole yet. It wasn't whole yet. And then one day, a winter's day, I can remember this so clearly. We were living up in Cortland Manor, Peekskill, And Dad came in from work and he just looked at me and he said, I can remember the cold on your body and on your coat. And he just said, I just spoke to Frank. So Frank is my brother and he is a priest and he's just a gentle, beautiful soul. And he said, I had to talk to Frank to know how to talk to you about Danielle.
Wow.
That was the moment that God can heal in a moment, a marriage that is just not falling apart, but really just not whole as it should have been. And neither one of us knew what to do about it. But that moment that Dad told me that he actually went to somebody else and especially to Frank, and to talk about Danielle, and I thought, isn't that so peculiar? Two people who love each other for life, and we believe that, that we made a covenant with God. That day we got married, we made a covenant with God, with each other, with our family and friends, that they pray for us, that our marriage would be for life. And at that moment, it came together again. It was just like, there was no other words that had to be said. It was, he's on my side. And that's my word for Dad. He has been constant. He's constant. It's a beautiful way to be remembered. Yeah. You can have all this elaborate stuff. I always say when I die, it's going to be, I lived, I died, I loved, I'm going home to the Lord. But Dad's word is constancy, a constant father. I mean, he's always been there, always been the rock, always been the one. And it took us a while to get to that point. This pain in the neck, man, that drives
50
me
years
crazy.
later, you could say.
Yes, but I have said that. That has always been my word for him. The constancy of knowing that man is always waiting for me when I come home, or taking care of you, or
will do his best
for any one of the children, and then our friends, and that's a beautiful gift to have.
It is.
Yeah. Marriage, 50 years of marriage, constancy, prayer. People say, how do you do it? I had my mother, Gigi, a prayerful woman. If that hasn't been handed down, to be ever aware that God will give you everything you need. You just have to be open to him and not try to always tell him what to do, which is what I like to tell.
We all kind of do that, I think.
Well, it's kind of sharing your life with other people. So our friends are people who share their lives with us, and we share. And you all are part of our lives. So it's something we share all the time with them.
You can feel that, though, when you're with your friends, whether it be here in Florida or friends in New York or friends in New Jersey. You have that constancy of the continual love and support and admiration and just joyfulness you all have in your different groups. It's really fun for me as a daughter to watch, and Danielle's sister, to watch you interact with your friends, because you all have that same joyfulness. No matter the hardships you all are going through in different variations, there's always, that's what I think, with the health of what you have together, there's a health of it and a beauty of it that's just so undeniable. It's palpable to see.
Isn't that nice to hear? Sure. I mean, I know we are joyful and we're blessed with our friends, because we can just...
It's fun. You guys have... you guys are silly together at the same time.
It's fun being silly.
You have to have a joyful life. I don't think you go through life to be unhappy.
Some people do, though.
But
Some people are just happy.
How do you find the joy in all everything that happens to you in life? Not just those great times, but all those mediocre times. And how do you bring the most joy out of your life? And how do you bring joy to other people? And how do you have fun with other people? And that's joyfulness. It's, you can always be unhappy, but there's no such word as unjoyful. So you strive to be joyful all the time.
Well, happiness is of this world, is what I've heard. Happiness is what we hear here. That we all talk about being happy, but the Lord infuses us with the gift of joy. And I do believe that. We have a book that we love. It's called Can You Drink the Cup? Right? Can You Drink the Cup? It was written by Henry Nouwen, who was a Catholic priest and a professor up at Harvard, or one of the schools, and also another person who met some people with challenges and lived his life then in a large community. And he wrote this book, Can You Drink the Cup? And it talks about life being filled with sorrow and filled with joy. And if you can put that all into the cup and drink it both to the dregs, and accept that both is part of the journey, and to experience that journey, no matter how painful it is, God is always with you in the midst of it all. And if you can drink that to the dregs, then you can experience life to the fullest.
That's beautiful.
So I think that's what we're trying to do, is drink that darn cup with all the joy and all the sorrow. And
I don't think anybody escapes sorrows in life.
No.
It's part of life, It's about how do you deal with the sorrows, and as when you just said, we both view as some people look at life differently, but we look at it as drinking from a cup. But the cup has to be filled, not with wine.
Yeah.
You can have that glass of wine, which we did last night. And
what
but it
happened.
really is a cup.
We sang a little bit last night.
It's a cup of joys and sorrows.
Yeah.
So that's life.
Yeah.
And how do you take both of them into your life and live it to the fullest? But you always bring into that life is God's love, and that will get you through that.
absolutely.
One other question. So what would you like for people to know about Danielle's home, or Home Like Danielle? Would you want more people to just say, ask, or how can I help? Or what would you like for Danielle's home?
Well, maybe just to know, Danielle they're just like any other child. They like birthday cards and Christmas cards, and they like
Balloons.
balloons. They love balloons. Danielle loves to follow the balloons. Sometimes you may not see it. Sometimes the eyes can't focus, but they love that. Anything colorful. They love to know. Like on Christmas morning at their home, they all have a bag, a big Christmas bag. And in it may just be the things they need, they're all necessities, socks and tops. But they have something to make their life a little more normal, They love the lights. There used to be a time that they took them out for the Christmas lights. So I'm not asking anybody to come and visit. If they want to, they can. I love that when a couple of times a few people came with me and we took a walk together, and that was really nice to share that. In many ways, it's a lonely journey, and you really realize a few days a week are just set aside for your child. And it's a lonely journey at times, but it's our journey. I'm not lonely in the sense of that word that it's I'm so sad or something.
Yeah, no, we're joyful when we're with her. So she's part of our life just like you are. And there's always joyfulness when we're with her. And we see her happiness, her joyfulness. And most people don't see that. But we know how she is. And because she is our daughter, she's just very special. It's we call the camp I Am Special, but they were all handicapped people.
I think maybe what I was trying to say is I guess I just wish people would know that I just lost my train of thought.
That's okay. That's okay.
Well,
there is a loneliness in it, in that people don't appreciate maybe that they're still suffering it, or the recognition that, we've met a few people in Target that we might know, and they don't look at Danielle. They look at me and they'll just, there's my daughter Danielle, and they'll say, but they don't know. And that's not a judgment on them. They don't know how to correspond to that. They don't know what to do. But that this is my child like any other child. So
they can't see that.
Sure.
It's just like when what can I do for her? And so, well, if she can't respond, then therefore,
so we don't do anything. So we don't send a Christmas card.
Away, but we know differently.
Or music box, anything musical. And she used to love when you worked for the station, the country music station.
I worked at a country station here
Yes.
in Jacksonville, Florida, when I first got here.
And she loved country music without you even discussing it. She loved country music. Then she went into Michael Jackson. She loved Michael Jackson for some reason, whatever that. So, there's just such a normalcy, and maybe that's it, to know that within this child there's somebody in there that understands. We just don't see it. Like they will surprise the heck out of us one day when we meet them on the other side. A friend of mine, Lucy, always says, "Can you imagine the day you'll see her on the other side?" I said, "No, I can't even go there. I can't even go there."
It's emotional.
All in all, it's a blessing. It's just such a blessing.
I know there's been a lot of time. So, is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap it up?
Probably many things, but
we could go on for hours. Really.
Yeah, and that there's a grace. We pray always for the grace to, love each other and accept each other, and of course, because nothing was ever my fault, so to be able to accept Dad and that the journey together is
very humble and it's really surprising.
I knew I was going to be.
Just this journey together that we will be able to, because now we're coming to the other part of our life. We're getting a little frail, and things are
I don't think
changing.
so. It doesn't seem that way to me.
Well, I know for sure because you're always telling me you can't lift her because your back hurts. And I just said, well, keep on trying because we're not giving up yet. But,
well,
you know.
To the outside and to me as your daughter, it's really beautiful.
Well, thank you.
It's beautiful. You've really just, everything that you've put, not the home, but just the things that you put into your life that are people and love and experiences.
Yeah.
It's just been really gorgeous.
Well, thank
It's a
you
nice
for
life.
saying that. Touches. It is a beautiful life. Would I change anything? No. It is a beautiful life. God has graced us beyond measure. I became a spiritual director 10 years ago, and I sat with a woman the other day, and she said, I'm using this time of it's been an incredible year of difficult times, and she said, I'm using this time before the new year to really reflect on all the blessings that God has given me this year. And instead of looking at the losses and the sorrows, and she recognizes them and accepts them, but the blessing of each and every opportunity to know that God has been with her and she got through it. And then realizing that, then you know that he'll always be with you in the future, so it will never happen. But we don't see our life as, I always ask the Lord to teach me love, because only he can teach love. I don't know what love is, but the man who died on the cross for me does. And I ask him to show me, what is that picture? I have some friends who love beautifully. I'm not going to mention them because they drive me crazy. They love everybody. And I always think they have a gift of love that
you have a gift of love.
That I would know how to love as Jesus would allow me to love.
It also gives you the health, I think. I really believe that strongly. Like, you are such an epitome of health because the way you love and the way you have community and the way you have faith and the way you believe in so many beautiful things that are of like the light and the rain and the stormy weather. We love rainy days. It's kind of funny. Rain. We love the fog. We love the rain. We love the snow. It's just a love and appreciation for all the gifts.
Yeah. It is. Well, thank you. But it is a gift. Kiki was always joyful.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a way that you grow up as well. That woman had so many
Your parents have a big
difficulties.
influence on you. How do you lead your life as you get older?
Well, thank you for being a good example for all of that.
And I think the best part of it is that when you have people your own age, the joy of all of you not remembering anything is so funny that they'll sit there and say, do you know that movie? You know the movie? We love that movie. Do you remember that movie? No. You know, the one with the actress with the blonde hair? We never remember the movies. And 6 hours later, we turn and say, that's the name of the movie. And anyway,
that's good.
It's a joyful life.
Well, thank you for taking the time. I've been wanting to do this with my mom and dad and my little sister Brianna as well.
Yes.
But I wanted to introduce everyone to Danielle because a lot of people kept saying, you should do a walk with Walsh with your family. We want to meet Danielle. And I thought it was important to also talk to you because of your 50 years of marriage and how you got here to this moment and to raise this beautiful creature, Danielle, my twin. And thank you for taking the time.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for doing
It's been
this.
our pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this very special episode of Walk with Walsh. It's meant a lot that you tuned in, listened to the story, and we really appreciate your time. Till next time, we'll see you soon.
Yay!
We did it! This episode of Walk with Walsh is brought to you by WW, Weight Watchers Reimagined. Find out how our new My WW program is easier and more customized than ever. Join today. Clothes for Jennifer Walsh, provided by Apropos Boutique.